Hello, everybody. Welcome to the August Notebook Challenge. If you are new here, welcome. If you are a notebook lover, which I'm assuming you are because you clicked on this thumbnail, we talk about notebooks, planners, how I'm using all of this stuff in my daily life. And I encourage you to, especially if you're a notebook hoarder, go into your closet or your stash or your bookcase where you have some empty notebooks that you haven't used before because you're waiting for that perfect reason, you're waiting for that inspiration, you don't want to mess it up, you're scared. Just start using your notebooks. It has been several years now that I have tried to just get into my notebooks and start using them as much as possible. And it's not a matter of needing to be perfect. It's not a matter of needing to use them all the way to the end by any certain time. So take that pressure off yourself unless that feels good to you, and just have fun and start using those notebooks. Because I'll tell you, one of the things that happens is, and we'll talk about that today, you buy stuff because you love it, then you get nervous to use it. And then years later down the road, you sort of dust it off and you think, that's not even really my style anymore. And you should have just used it when you had it and you were enjoying it. I also have a little coffee here. This is an iced coffee. I've been drinking that Califia coffee. I used to say Califia Farms, but then I saw a commercial and it's like Califia Farms. I don't remember. But anyway, the cold brew with just a little bit of heavy cream, and it's so tasty. And I just got water on my leather notebook, so we'll just use that to clean that spot right there. And now it's time. Let's get moving on these notebooks because I have a lot of fun stuff to share with you today. One of the main notebooks that I know a lot of you have been looking forward to seeing the setup of is coming soon. I've already started marking out the pages and what I'm going to do with all of it, but I am coming, hopefully, like fingers crossed, everybody send good vibes, to the end of edits this month on The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. Every single month, I feel like it's the month that it's going to be done. And then every single month, it takes me longer than I thought. But we're not giving up. And that's the key. So if anybody out there is a writer who is also just struggling with edits, just know you're not alone and everything's going to be fine. You're going to do great. But I have basically filled up this entire notebook of just stuff for the plot of The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. I have mostly used this as not only a way to track the actual plot, but as a way to track what's happening with the characters, the scenes, any type of romance or brainstorming or just character arc and different stuff like that. Anything that comes to mind. There's a lot of secrets in this particular book. So every character has their secrets. And so it was hard. Part of the difficulty of this book was mapping out whose secret comes to light when for the reader, and then when does that secret come to light for Lorelai, who's the main character, and how does those things interplay? And it has taken all of my brain capability to make this come together, and I hope you're going to love it. But all of this has been in here. There's tip-ins, there's tabs, and I really, really love this. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to keep the cover on it or if I'll take the cover off and reuse it, but I think I am actually just going to keep the cover, and I'm going to use a label maker to put The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw on the side of this one. So when that's done, this one will be retired and we'll go into hopefully what will become a long stack of B6 Stalogy notebooks that are basically almost like a scrapbook of my life while writing those books. So the next book that I'll be working on is a serialized story for my subscription, and that is going to be called A Mirror of Shadows. Now, I will do a future video about what all is going on with my subscription and where I'm going to host it and how I'm writing a serial, and all of that stuff will be coming up, as well as a setup of the actual notebook. But I'll be using a B6 Stalogy again. And I'm going to use this cover that is my new Aura Estelle cloud cover, or it might be called the Perfect Fit cover or something like that, but it's really beautiful and it has this scalloped edge here and it has the Aura Estelle stamped on it. This particular planner cover is expandable. So if you're using a shorter notebook or a smaller notebook like this, you can make it smaller, or if you want it to be, as it grows bigger, Stalogy, you can make it bigger. It does have 2 pin loops and it has a nice pocket in the front and lots of pockets inside. So I will be setting this up. I'm going to do a similar thing where I'm going to take this Salty Katie Co. jelly cover and I'm going to put it on top, but I'm still trying to decide what backing paper. So the backing paper on this one, I did a washi tape dashboard here, and then I have a backing paper here and a different one here, are all from the Planner Society box back when they used to do those. So I need to find something that feels sort of fantasy. So A Mirror of Shadows is technically, like most of my books, a portal fantasy, and the portal is a mirror, of course, but it leads into a fantasy world. And this is going to be more of a romantasy story. It is going to be more of a romance than some of my young adult stories. It is going to be a little bit more new adult, but it probably won't be super spicy, but maybe a little spicy. I haven't fully decided. We'll see as I begin to write it. But if you love romantasy and stories like this, then hopefully you'll come listen to it, because I'm going to be reading it live on YouTube, and then the book will come out as an actual book on Amazon, Google Play, Apple, all those places, Kobo, everywhere. So I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to do the sections of this notebook a little bit differently than I did with this one. So with this notebook, what I did was set it up in the beginning with plot and places to go in and put what my word count was, but I did not really keep up with the word count piece of it. And so in this book, and then everything else was basically just like using the next page for whatever my next thought was. So this one I'm going to try putting a little bit more structure into, and I'm going to have a specific section dedicated to characters, a specific section dedicated to world building, and then other brainstorming pieces. And we're going to see the trick with a notebook like this that you can't take pages in and out of is, of course, that if you set up, let's say, a large place with characters, and then you run out of room because this is the world building section, but you need more pages for characters, you either have to tip them in or you have to create a second character section in the back. So it's going to be a little tricky to estimate how much I need for each section, but I'll walk you through that process, and we're going to set this up together in the next week. So I'm so excited to be bringing that to you as I start working on that story. I actually have already started working on the story, but I'll be working more directly. I'm also going to be giving away a B6 Stalogy today, so stay tuned on that. Then the other story notebook, I'm going to be working on 2 books at once because they're all part of my Shadow Demons world, is book 12 of my Shadow Demon saga. So this is my longest series. I've been writing it for over a decade, and the final book is what I'm going to be working on. But part of what happens in A Mirror of Shadows will influence some of book 12. And I need to actually go back and reread the first 11 books and all the spinoffs just to get my mind back in the right place and make sure my wiki is up to date. So I'm going to be doing that while I'm writing this other story. And I already went through and set up this new notebook here. Let me make sure you can see it okay. So this is a cloth and paper cover, and I love it. I am currently in this size for my main HB90 planner, but this cover does not fit expander rings, but it's perfect for just regular, like classic Happy Planner size rings, like 1 inch or maybe 1.25. I went ahead while I was watching the Olympics and stuff and just picked out a bunch of little ephemera and I've just really been getting into stickers a lot lately, and I'm not even actually pulling the backs off. I'm just using them. So here's an example. I've been reading a lot more this year. This is one of my goals for the year. And so I found this cute shop on Etsy called Amberlynn Studios, and she has these little charms that you can put into the charging port of your Kindle. You could use it for your phone too. And so I, of course, got the disco cherries. And then I have all of these stickers. So I just put a clear case. This is the Kindle Oasis, which I don't think they make anymore. But I got some stickers from a couple of different shops. So I will link these below. Illy Milly Designs, I know, is one of them. This one, I think, is Amberlynn Studios. I love this, the Kindle of a Killer Bella. Like, all of these are so fun. And I can't remember the name of the other shop, but I will link that down below. But I've been getting lots of little stickers from shops lately and just using them in my decoration. And I want to just like hold on to them forever. So I've got some things in here. I've got some stuff in here. And I will share this full setup with you when I do the Mirror of Shadows walkthrough or setup. So this one, I didn't record the setup, but I will record a walkthrough. So these are basically my upcoming plotting notes. And so last time with Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, I used this little index card holder. And I did enjoy this. I liked being able to flip through it like a photo album. But at the same time, sometimes it got annoying because I wanted to be able to pull them out and reorder them, and you have to pull them out individually. So I'm going to keep this for future use potentially, but I'm going to go back to a little bit more OG method. Now, in the past, I also have just put a hole punch in the corner and put a book ring on it, and then they just become like a ring of index cards instead of having a case. But then when I put them into my bag over and over again, they tend to get ratty around the edges. So I'm going to try this little card case from Office Depot. They come in lots of colors. So I have it, I think, in red, black, white, and purple. So I'm going to use the purple one for Mirror of Shadows. And then I'm probably going to use the black one for the book 12 of the Shadow Demon Saga. And they come with these little dividers, the little clear plastic dividers, so I can separate into Act 1, 2, and so on. So I'm going to start setting all that up for you guys. Let me know if you want to just see all the writing content of setting these things up, because it's going to be super fun. Okay, just because I already showed you one Aura Estelle, this is the other Aura Estelle that I have, and it's in the pink, I don't know, pink blush or something color. And this one has been set up mostly since the beginning of the year. And all I did here in July, I might have showed you, was set it up for, this is the second half of the year. So when I bought the Sterling Ink Common Planner, I bought it in 2 6-month editions. I think next year I'll probably do just the full year one and see how that goes. But I didn't realize that this year she actually included Q1 in the second book, which I think is weird. Like, I don't need Q1. I guess it's for people that are referencing old things that happened. I don't know, but it's like, this was in the first book. I don't need it in the second book. So I accidentally did that wrong. So this still has April, May, June, which to me is just wasted pages. So I redated it, but this is my like evening tarot journal, and I keep up with it pretty well. But I have to say that I have like literally since July, I have only filled out this many pages, because I haven't felt like journaling as much. And this is one of the reasons that I moved from a Hobonichi, which has dated pages, to the Sterling Ink, which all these pages are just blank, because then it gives me the freedom to, if I feel like journaling, I can fill out lots of pages. And if I don't feel like journaling, I can just leave them blank for a long period of time, and it's fine. But I think next year I will try, once they go on pre-order. She does set up the pre-order pretty early. So I feel like maybe even in September, the pre-order for these for next year is probably going to go up. So if someone sees it go up, please send me a message, because I don't want to miss it. Okay, let's talk about my little evidence notebook. So this is another Sterling Ink. This is just the, I don't know, passport size or something like that, pocket size. And I decided a few months ago that I was going to use this little guy, even though it also has some dated pages and stuff, as what I call an evidence notebook, which is basically the idea of, let's say I want to find evidence in the world that I am a good writer, a talented writer. Like maybe I'm struggling with my confidence with my writing because I haven't had a book in 3 years. So I want to find evidence for the positive things in my life, because I feel like there is no end to being able to find negative evidence, of like evidence you're not good enough, or evidence people don't like you, or evidence you're not doing well enough, or compared. It's easy to compare ourselves to people doing better. And I wanted to flip that for myself and start looking for the evidence that things are always working out for me, that I'm doing a good job, that I'm talented, that I'm going to be okay, that I'm making a difference in people's lives, just different stuff like that. So I started out in this little notebook so that I could carry it with me in my purse or whatever. But it's so small that if I want to, I found myself multiple times wanting to print out things that people have said or messages people have left for me. And it's so small, I can't really fit it well into this tiny little book. So I'm still going to carry this around. And even though it's technically a 2024 planner, I'm going to ignore the dates, and I'm just going to keep filling it out as I come to it. But I also wanted to create something that was a little bit more, I guess, just a little more space to it. And sometimes when I have notebooks or other planners or things like that that have been sitting around for a while and not getting love, I try to think, oh, is this an opportunity for me to use one of those things that I haven't used before? So at one point, somebody in my paper planning publishing group got me hooked on the idea of B6 size. And this was before I had used a Stalogy, and I thought I would love to use rings because I was always using these sort of ring planners. in A5. And so I bought some B6 things from Kiki K years ago. All of these I got on sale except for maybe this one, which was a Mother's Day gift. And I have used this one before, but for the most part, I haven't even, like you can see this one hasn't even been used at all. And neither has this one. It still has the Malala Fund on the back of it. And part of the reason I've been scared to use this one in particular is that it's cloth. And I feel like, oh my gosh, that's gonna get messy. But it is really beautiful. And there's little doodles on it, which are so cute. And then this one, of course, has cherries. And it looks kind of fall, like these sort of muted fall colors. So this might be the winner, honestly. Then I had also purchased on deep discount years and years ago, this Dream Planner from Kiki K. And this is a kind of a suede and it says Dream, and then you could get it blind embossed with white. And I love the white rings. And I did actually use this a little bit for some goal setting stuff. You see back in 2021, and printed out some Planner Press digital dashboards. So I have used this one, but what I think, well, I'll show you the inside of this one too, because I also did some digital dashboards with this. I set up my pockets. I think these were from like Heather B planners or something like that. I had set this up, and I think this one was in particular going to be for one of my courses. Yeah, Money Mentality Makeover. I was setting it up. I was planning to use it for that course, and I did use it a little bit, but then I decided to switch to a notebook that I wasn't having to take the pages out of all the time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the idea of this evidence notebook and mix it with what some people suggested I call a smile file. If that was you that suggested it, thank you. And I'm going to combine the two concepts. And I think this is the one I'm going to use since we're getting closer to fall. We're not quite there, but it has the cherries on it. So I think I'm going to take some of the guts out of this one, of the like pieces that I bought that says like Sarra Cannon and so forth, and put together a planner that is just specifically kind of like a notebook to keep track of evidence, to print out when people leave really nice comments, either on YouTube or like in my Facebook groups or anything like that, or just maybe even doing a little bit of scrapbooky journaling about events that go on. So one of the things that happened to me this past week was my friend Lexi Ryan released her new book, Beneath These Cursed Stars. If you haven't read her duology, These Hollow Vows, and then this follows on from that with one of the characters from the first set, but you don't have to read that set to enjoy this one. It was my first ever like HarperCollins True Publisher ARC edition. And what happened was HarperCollins publicist reached out to me and asked if I would be willing to host a conversation at the Barnes & Noble at Stonebriar Center with Lexi for her book tour. And I honestly didn't even know this was something I could do as an indie author. And it just meant a lot to me. And the Barnes & Noble ordered my books, and they actually still have them, a few of them in stock. So they are signed. If you end up at Stonebriar Center in Dallas, Fort Worth area, and you happen to be at the Barnes & Noble, which is this beautiful 2-story, gorgeous Barnes & Noble. The people were so nice and welcoming. They do have some copies of Beautiful Demons signed there, and it would really mean a lot to me if some people popped in there and grabbed them, because I want them to sell for sure. But several of you showed up. Andrew, thank you so much for coming and bringing me a gift. And Rebecca was there. There were lots of amazing people, and it was so wonderful to meet some book bloggers and other people like that. But Lexi signed this for me as well. The ARC, I did not get a hardcover yet, but I'm going to. Where is it? And then we went to Cheesecake Factory with her and my friend Megan Vernon and her daughter, and we just had a great time. So I want to remember this of being a moment that expanded me into the possibility of like, even though I'm an indie author, I can still belong in bookstores and I can still be at book signings, and I don't know, I belong, I guess. And it was just a moment to remember that was evidence of, you are a good writer, you are doing good things in the world, you have amazing friends, you know. And so I want to take some of the photos from that event and put it in here. So I'm going to take out some of these inserts and I'm going to put in some blank pages mostly. And then I could do like a 2-page spread of that event with some photos and some journaling about it. I just think it would be a cool thing to do. And that way, because it doesn't have dates or anything specific, I would have no rush or pressure to fill out a certain amount of it every single day or week or anything like that. It's just like when I get around to it. So I'll be setting that up, and I'll share the setup with you guys next month in the Notebook Challenge. Another new notebook. I was trying to remember if I showed you this last month, and now I can't remember. I feel like I did, but I'm just gonna share it again. Oh, I did. I did share this last month, I feel like. So this is my new EverQuest 2 notebook that I am using with my husband, and I are gaming again. And so we're using this. So I have been filling it out even more. And I was thinking at first, like maybe I didn't share it with you, but I did. So I've just been filling it out as I level up my characters. And I have just a few old inserts that I used to have in here, and I've just been using them. And then I also purchased a little mini Happy Planner on deep discount. Happy Planner had a big sale recently. And so I grabbed a couple things. One is for that book 12 notebook. And then also you can see I did not do a great job of starting out the month, but hopefully this week will be a little bit better. I'm going to go back in and backfill this. But what I'm planning to do is something I used to do with my gaming notebooks, which is kind of a little scrapbook memory keeping that really only takes like 5 minutes at the end of my gaming session, not even 5 minutes, to just write down any little jokes that we had. So we've been doing more family game nights, so not just EverQuest 2, but if Evie wants to play Brookhaven on Roblox, or Feather Family is something she plays, I'll get in there and play with her. And it's just kind of funny because she'll say little funny things like, "Don't get on anybody else's back, mommy, you're my baby," different things like that. And I would love to remember those little sayings, because even though I think I'm going to remember it forever, I know it will slip out of my mind. And so I want to jot that down. So this will just stay open on my desk where I game, and then I can just jot down any funny jokes or like any people we met or any fun things that happened. And I'm not planning to keep this any kind of decorative. I might throw some stickers in or something like that. But I figure it was like $7 for this planner or less. And I thought, for that, I'm going to start keeping this little memory keeper of it. And then I'm tracking all of my crafting and all of my different characters and progression through that server. So this has been really fun to have. So more little ways to continue enjoying my life, bringing out the fun, bringing out the positive, because there's enough negative in the world. And I just want to keep reminding myself that there are also a lot of fun and positive things out there. So I have also been slowly filling up this. I feel like this, by the time I end up with all the stickers in this Erin Condra and Franken planner, this is going to be so full. So I created my own 6-month. If you want to see the setup of that, I did that on my channel here before. This is another Fueled by Iced Coffee and Anxiety. I think this one's from the Honeybee shop. It's so cute. I do have another entire order coming from Amberlynn Studios. So let me know if you guys want to see a haul of that. But I just filled out my August. I went ahead and filled out August and September in this hybrid. So it's basically a monthly planner. Then I've got some pages in here that are vertical pages, as well as some compact vertical pages. And those have not been getting the use that they need to get because it's for my subscription. And since I haven't started my subscription, but I'm hoping to start it on September 9th. Evie's birthday is on the 2nd, and she'll be 5 years old. So I don't want to start on that date, but I'm going to start hopefully on the 9th. That's my target date. So I will keep you guys updated. We do have a Friday the 13th coming up in September, so that's going to be fun. And I just keep my stickers in the back. But basically, I have been using this a lot for journaling and other things. Like when I went to the mastermind in Phoenix, there's just a lot of notes and other things that are going into this that have been very helpful. I can't find them all right now, but just different places where I've been keeping a lot of notes, and it's been really helpful to have a hybrid of a planner and a notebook all together. And this is one of my favorite things that I use. Okay, another little updates here. So you may have remembered, I also bought, back when I was buying the Sterling Ink notebooks or planners, I bought one of their ones that's basically like a Hobonichi Weeks size, and then another one that is a Traveler's Notebook size. And I love this little charm from, I think it's Charming Planner Shop. And then this is the OG Kiki K Dragonfly cover that I love. And I have this in a couple different formats. This I was using for morning journaling for a while, and it's such a huge notebook. I don't want to miss it, but I'm using that tarot planner in the morning now for my journaling. So I haven't been using this, but I'm not giving up on this one because every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I got to come up with another use for that. But again, I don't want to get stuck in the trap of I already am using lots of different things, and I do want to still be getting my work done and spending time with family. And, sometimes it can become more stressful than helpful to have these expectations of, oh, I've got to fill that out. I've got to spend 10 minutes a day on this one and 5 minutes a day on this one and so forth. So for now, this one is just dormant, but it's so beautiful. I pulled it out to start thinking like, how could I potentially use that one? But this one also was my gaming notebook. You can see I was doing harvesting and different stuff like that. But then I want to be able for my gaming notebook to move sheets in and out. So I'm, again, looking for a use for that one. My meeting notebook from Erin Condren is continuing to get use. I am about a third of the way through the notebook, and I have really loved having one specific notebook to keep all of my meetings in. I have a meeting every single Monday with my mastermind group, but then I also have meetings with other people for, podcasts and just different things like that. So to have all of that information in one notebook has been nice. So highly recommend this if they're still selling it. I will see if I can find a link. Also, I don't think I updated you guys on this one. So this was a May Designs notebook that I started using this April 1st, and this was a Q2 notebook. And then towards the end, I didn't stick with the scripting. So I was using this for scripting, which is like a manifesting technique where you journal from the future as if the things that you want in your life are already happening. So for instance, if I wanted to journal that I had my own book tour going on, I would say, oh, I woke up today and showed up at Barnes & Noble for my own book tour. And you would write it as if that was actually happening in your life. And this has been a really powerful tool for not only clarity, but positivity and dreaming and just all that stuff. And I finally did finish it. I'm not going to flip through it exactly because it is really personal, but you can just kind of see that it is finished. I finished this notebook and it is done. And I want to continue on with that practice. I don't know if I'll do it every single day, but I have a lot of these May Designs notebooks. So next month I will share with you which next one I've picked out, and I will just keep working through it. Another thing that I am going to be sharing, and again, I know I ask for your opinions, here on the channel, and I do take it into consideration as often as I can make the videos, but I would love to know if you want to see a setup and more information on this one. So I had mentioned to you all before that I was not using these Archer and Olive journals the way that I had wanted to for my story notebook, but I still have a handful of Archer and Olive journals I haven't given away. And this one just started speaking to me, and I was like, you know what, that's going to be the perfect one, especially because I'm starting to already to think ahead to Spooktacular and fall and, all the spooky things. Plus I saw a video about black paper bullet journal, and I just thought, you know what, I have one black paper bullet journal, and I have all these pens that I had purchased, Jelly Roll pens, Uniball pens. I have the Milky Pop pens, Stabilo markers, and some Erin Condren pens. And I even have some Moonlight ones that I haven't opened yet, some different colors that write really well on black paper. And I've never really gotten use out of them the way that I want to. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to set this up. I debated setting up, I'll tell you what it is in a second, but I debated setting this up on Notion because I think Notion would also be another good place for it. But when I think ahead to where I want to be able to look back and reflect on it, I want something physical in my hand, which is usually the case. So I bought this one maybe last year Halloween. It could be the year before Halloween. Let me know if you remember, but it is kind of one of their Halloween witchy journals. And I don't know if it had a name to it, but it's, obviously like a moon design. And it's their typical 160 GSM, 160 pages with the silver outlining and a pen loop. And then it's all black pages on the inside with a very light white dot grid. And this won't be exactly a bullet journal for me, but it will be project journal. So I will share a little bit more about this in the future, but for now, I'll just say the project that I'm going to be doing in this is called Project 48. And it is just simply all the things I want to accomplish and clean up about my life and focus on in terms of my own personal growth between now and my 48th birthday in January. It's about 6 months. And if you followed my Sarra Cannon channel, you know from coffee chats that I like to do something that I call 6 months for life, which is this idea of setting 6 months aside to focus on one specific personal growth goal or career goal in order to really serve me for the rest of my life. So making one radical shift, focusing on one major habit to develop, or anything like that. And I often find that sometimes when I try to do 6 months for life, this is just something I created. It's not like a program or anything. It's just something I call it. Sometimes I have false starts because I try to start and then I get busy and it doesn't start. And then I have to restart the habits and things like that. And that has been happening to me all year, false starts, restarts. And I think it's mostly because of the travel and just being busy and things like that. So it helps me a lot of times when I anchor myself with a specific date to aim for. So January 23rd, 2025, I will turn 48. And I was in the shower and just had this idea of calling it Project 48. So I'm going to create a little front page that says Project 48. And I'm also going to use, I have an Archer and Olive pad. I need to find it and see where the house organizers put it because I'm not sure where they put it. That has a bunch of different colorful paper. So I'm imagining kind of pulling that apart and putting that as well as some white page in here. This is going to be very collage heavy. It's going to be very photo heavy. And it's basically going to be documenting all the days, every single day of between now and, or when I get it set up and my 48th birthday, and potentially beyond if I don't fill up the whole thing. So it's going to be a project notebook. Let me know. I know this is not exactly writing related or anything like that, but if you guys want to see how I'm setting this up, I have set up like health and fitness journals and other things like that here before. But one of the things that I'm going to be doing for myself is I'm a perpetual learner, and I'm sure many of you know that, and I'm sure many of you are the same way, but I buy a lot of personal growth courses and business type courses and stuff like that. And I have been tracking more of the business type courses in one of my other planners. I didn't pull it out today, but I've kind of been tracking my personal growth and like health and fitness stuff in this daily duo. But again, I don't know. I want something that feels more scrapbooky. And so I'm, never afraid to like abandon something, try something new until I find something that works. And so I'm going to try this and we're going to see if it works. But this is going to be a very scrapbooky memoir, memory keeping kind of journal that will also hopefully keep me on track. But part of what I'm going to do is create a syllabus for myself of all the sort of courses and meditations and different things that I want to do on my personal growth journey. And sometimes when I create a notebook for it, it just helps me prioritize it in my mind. So we'll see how that works out. And let me know if you want to see a Blackout journal, sort of spiritual growth Project 48 notebook. Okay, that is it for our notebook challenge today. Our giveaway is going to be this B6 Stalogy, so I'll tell you a little bit more how to enter that, but we're also going to talk about our diverse read for the month. So let's do that. Okay, our diverse read of the month is one that I have been wanting to read so badly. Just came out on August 1st and I grabbed it immediately. I haven't read it yet, but I cannot wait. And this is by Yasmin Angoe. So I got to meet Yasmin at the Pikes Peak Writers Conference. We ended up sitting together at a table and we spent a little bit of time together. And we also did a little contest together. We had so much fun. And she is such a lovely woman and an incredible author. If you are not familiar with Yasmin's work, you might actually have seen it before because her books are extremely popular on Amazon. Her Name is Night is the beginning of her trilogy in the Nina Night series, which is about a Ghanaian woman who is an assassin. So good, brilliantly written. This first book, Her Name is Night, has over something like 16,000 reviews on Amazon. It is by all means a bestseller and worthy of it. The second book is They Come at Night. The third book is It Ends with Night, but Yasmin has a new genre. So Not What She Seems is a psychological thriller. And I believe it's currently like #1 in all of psychological thrillers. It's in the top 30 or so on Amazon right now. And already, even though it just came out 6 days ago, has over 6,000 reviews. And I cannot wait to read this. She's such a great writer. And like I said, an amazing person. So I highly recommend you check out her books on her website, which is just yasminangoe.com. You can read more about Yasmin, get links to her books. You can join her mailing list and connect with her on social media. A little bit about Yasmin. She is the Anthony-nominated author of the critically acclaimed thriller Her Name is Night of the Nina Knight series, first-generation Ghanaian American, and in 2020 received the Eleanor Taylor Bland Award for Emerging Writers of Color from Sisters in Crime. Yasmin's books were an Amazon Best Book of the Month for mystery, thriller, and suspense, and an editor's pick, which, by the way, this new book is labeled as Best Books of 2024 so far on Amazon as well. Her work has received numerous recognitions, was on a billboard in Times Square, Best of List, Library Journal Star Review. Nina Knight series has also been optioned for TV. It would make such a great TV series, so I hope that continues on. Her Name is Night has appeared in the New York Times Book Review, Oprah, Pop Sugar, The Guardian, and other platforms. Yasmin is a proud member of several prestigious organizations like Crime Writers of Color, Sisters in Crime, Mystery Writers of America, International Thriller Writers, and the Women's National Book Association. She's a former English teacher. You all know I was also a teacher, but of music. I always love it when authors become teachers or teachers become authors too. It's very cool. Instructional coach and lives in South Carolina with her husband and their kids. So definitely check out Yasmin's website. You can follow her on Facebook or on Instagram, and definitely check out her books on Amazon. Because they are published through Thomas and Mercer, which is one of Amazon's publishing arms. They are free in Kindle Unlimited as well. Or if you're not a Kindle reader, you can buy them at Target and Barnes and Noble and all over the place. So definitely check out Yasmin's new book, Not What She Seems. Yay. Thank you all so much for being here. I am a little late on the getting the notebook challenge up, but I'm so glad that it's here. August is here. Kids are going back to school. Schedule is shifting yet again, but I think it's going to be a great fall coming up. And I'm really looking forward to all the writing and all the content and everything else. If you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe to this channel and join our Hardy's family. We have a notebook challenge like this every single month, and we also include a giveaway. So check out that diverse read, and then also comment down below, make sure that you're following this channel, give this video a like, and then leave me a comment with what you'll do with this B6 Stalogy if you win it. I have a couple of extras of these, and I feel like they're always in demand, that you guys are always interested in them. So I think it's a good giveaway. So I will choose one winner from the comments. I will leave this open until August 11th. So you have until the 11th to enter to win, and then we will choose a winner, open internationally, of course. And I will see you all in my next video. Thanks so much for being here. And don't forget to use your notebooks. Bye, everybody.